There's only one way to describe what's happening to the Arizona Diamondbacks right now. They're snake bitten.
You are Locked On MLB, your daily MLB podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all of Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully. Follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter or whatever they're calling it these days, and on Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. But the best way to get a hold of me is right here on YouTube and post the comments right here on YouTube. And if you're posting comments on social media about the show, make sure to have that hashtag EverydaySully. It helps us figure out who's listening to us, and then we can find you. And hey, did you know that your Fire TV is also on Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller, they're required. All right. Well, recording this for a Sunday morning drop, some people take the weekend off. I don't. I sometimes will take a weekday off and make sure you get 5 brand new episodes a week at least. The West, both Western divisions right now are unfolding in ways. Now, granted, we are still early in the season, but at this time next week, we can't say it's only April. We're going to be about a month through the season. And as I've said, I do not really look at the standings. Like, I don't give them any real weight until after Memorial Day, because the first 2 months, you're still, sizing each other up. That being said, right now, the American League West, especially with Texas losing, and the A's dropping a game, and the Angels are stumbling. They've dropped 7 of their last 10 games. They went from first place to last place. But it's interesting that 2 games in the loss column separate first place from last place in the AL West. And so if you're an AL West team, including the Angels, including the A's, take a good long look at this next month and see what you could do to improve your team, because so far it's basically a scrum. Now, the National League West has one legitimately terrible team, and the Rockies lost again. We're going to do a show about the Rockies because we got to find reasons to have, I don't know, hope for this team, or at least show up to the park. But right now, you have 4 teams that are bunched together, and by some bizarre set of circumstances, one team is on top by themselves, and that's the San Francisco Giants. And it's not even because they're playing at a unbelievable clip right now. They've split their last 10 games, but they're in first place by themselves. The magic number for the Giants to win the National League West has been reduced to 135. And it was a magical day in San Francisco because you had it was Brandon Crawford Day, and that was pretty cool, honoring Brandon Crawford, who was World Series champion, fan favorite. And then it was being played against the Texas Rangers, who are managed by Bruce Bochy. So you're able to have Bochy there, and Bochy was his manager during that. And, if you're a Giant fan, and I know my mom is, I know many of my friends are, 40,000 people showed up at Oracle Park and saw a hell of a ball game. Saw a hell of a game where the Rangers took an early 2-0 lead because Jake Berger said, "I'm going to win. I'm going to do this." And then Adames tied the game. And then Bailey came up and saw one pitch, just one damn pitch, and got a walk-off hit. Robbie Ray pitched well, struck out 8. And the Giants they're a fun, exciting team. Are they going to continue at this pace? This is a team that started the year 8-1. They're right now 18-10. And they have had 1, 2, 3, 4 walk-off wins this year. 4 times the San Francisco Giants have, mobbed the player running across home plate. Um, but there's a couple things that you should feel good about if you're a Giant fan so far in this first month. First of all, that they've held their own because the Padres have played great. Padres have lost 7 of their last 10, but Padres obviously played great. Dodgers got off that unbelievable start. They won tonight against Pittsburgh. They come from behind win. Ohtani had a great game, but the Giants have had those walk-off wins, and there you go. But they've also been winning their blowout games. They've had 5 blowout games where the margin of victory is by 5 runs or more, and they've won 4 out of those 5. So they're doing well. They're winning at home. They're winning on the road. They're doing what you need to do for the team to play well. They're pitching very well. Robbie Ray had another good performance today. Webb is having a terrific year so far. Verlander has not been great, but their bullpen has been solid, and Doval is starting to play well. And of course, you have Yastrzemski is playing well. Flores is playing well. It's an interesting team. Now, the other team that seems to be if the Giants are super lucky right now, as I alluded to before, lost today in extra innings in a game where Eugenio Suárez, say that 5 times fast, hit 4 home runs today. 4. He became part of that unique fraternity of players who have hit 4 home runs. You know how many have done that? Well, now 19. The last person to do it was JD Martinez, who at the time was also with the Arizona Diamondbacks. But you don't. If you look at some of the players who have hit, 4 home runs in one game, there are some Hall of Famers on there. You got Lou Gehrig, you got Gil Hodges, you got Willie Mays, you got Mike Schmidt. You got some players who are unlikely, like hard hitting Mark Whitten, Scooter Gennett. Yeah, Scooter Gennett's on there. Do you know who's not on there? Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, Henry Aaron, Frank Robinson, Harmon Killebrew. I mean, so many of the great home run hitters of all time never hit 4 home runs in one game. Granted, Willie Mays did, but Willie Mays did everything. And now you got Suárez, who did it. And his 4th home run was in the 9th inning to tie the game. And the Diamondbacks still lost it. And they lost it with wild pitches. And they lost it with bonehead plays. And they lost it with some, walking tons of batters. And it's just they're finding sort of dumb ways to lose games. And here's something that's really, if you're a Diamondback fan, should be kind of sort of upsetting for you. In the last 4 games, in the last 4 freaking games for the Diamondbacks, they have lost 3 of them in extra innings. And they've lost them at home. 3 out of 4 times at home, they've lost an extra inning game. I didn't even think that was possible. And that you're giving extra baseball to the fans that are showing up there, but they're walking out with their heads down. And this, by the way, does not count that a week ago on Friday, they had that game against the Cubs where they lost 13-11, at which they scored 10 damn runs in 1 inning, and that wasn't enough for them to win the game. So it's right now, it is the 27th day of April. Since the 18th of April, they have had 1, 2, 3, they've had 4 games that are inexcusable to lose. 4 of them. And just a kindly reminder to Diamondbacks fans, a team that made it to the World Series in 2023, missed the playoffs by a single game last year. If they won 1 more game somewhere, they would have gone to the playoffs with a pretty good team. They were better last year than the team that went to the World Series. And this is a team that went out there and did stuff to try to win. Now, granted, they don't have Marte right now, and removing that Jenga piece is really bad for the Diamondbacks. But wow, and did I mention wow? If you're going to go through this and drop games like this, I swear, I've made this point before, I'll make it again. If the Diamondbacks miss the playoffs by a game again, I'm going to say, remember April? You can't afford to lose dumb games, not at any point of the season. You're going to lose games. Every team loses games. The 1998 Yankees lost games. And if you lose a game like 1-0, like a fabulous pitcher's duel, like there was a game just the other day at Dodger Stadium where Yamamoto pitched pretty well, but Paul Skeens was fantastic for the Pittsburgh Pirates. If you're a Dodger fan and you say, "Oh, how do we lose to the Pirates?" You lost the Pirates because Paul Skeens was great. That's how you do it, you know. Or yesterday, on Friday, the Astros lost a game to Kansas City, and it was 2-0. Well, the Astro fans can't kick themselves because Seth Lugo, who pitched for Kansas City, was just fantastic. He was off the charts great. So when you have a game like that, all you do, you tip your hat to them. Absolutely, you tip your hat. Mackenzie Gore the other day had a game where he struck out 8 batters in 6 innings and got the loss because it was a well-pitched game, a well-played game. If you lose a well-played game, that's going to happen. And you got to give some respect to the opposite team. But if you're losing games which are not necessarily pitchers' duels, 7-6 walk off, 7-6 extra inning loss at home, 7-4 extra inning loss at home, 13-11. You scored 11 runs that wasn't enough to win a game. And then you have a guy hit 4 freaking home runs in one game and you don't win that. This is the sort of thing that will come back and bite them. Absolutely. And I say this as someone, I like the Diamondbacks. I'd like to see them do well. But do you know what, folks? You can't lose a game like this. I don't care if it's April. You can't make this, I don't know, a habit. The NBA playoffs, they're here and they're on fire, and some of the teams are moving on. OKC said that's enough of this. Hopefully, you'll see the Celtics trying to go for it. You'll see the Heat trying to go for it. And will the Knicks and the Pistons go the distance? I don't know, but FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. And it makes betting so easy. FanDuel, look, when I'm picking the Celtics to do well, if I'm trying to create a player prop, it's so easy. From 3-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet on your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. That's FanDuel. So the Giants are in first. The Dodgers are keeping pace. The Padres have stubbed their toe. The Diamondbacks have dropped 4 in a row. 4 in a row. And the AL West is a log jam, and it's a beautiful thing. And you got to see Jared Duran today for the Red Sox steal home. Steal home. I'm going to do a thing later this week. I need someone to explain to me the whole obsession with the true outcomes, the strikeout, walk, home run. Why we're so obsessed with that? I love when you got base runners running, and I love when you put the ball in play. If you have teams that are not focused on the defense, we've seen in the last bunch of games, we've seen just all around baseball, wild plays, weird plays, errors being made, little balls falling in and dropping just perfectly. There are all these things that are happening in baseball when you put the ball in play, and you're also seeing pitchers having to be taken out of the game because they throw 90 pitches in the first 5 innings. Well, that's because everyone's trying to strike out or the batter's trying to walk. I mean, the team that figures it out, hey, let's emphasize defense and let the pitchers pitch to contact, then maybe you won't have pitch counts going through the roof because you're not striking out every batter. And maybe you're tightening up the defense and allowing the pitcher to, I don't know, trust the people behind him. And maybe you could say, hey, instead of being okay with a strikeout, yeah, I know a double play is terrible. That's what killed the Diamondbacks the other day when a double play to end the game against Tampa Bay just absolutely torpedoed a chance to win a game. I get you don't want into a double play, but a little flare, a ball hitting the wrong place, a guy making a stupid play. There was a play I saw, I think it was in the Cleveland Boston game today, where the shortstop tried to hot dog a play to second base behind the back, and the second baseman dropped it, and it prolonged a rally. Or Jared Duran stretching a double and a triple and then stealing home. The unpredictability of baseball is something that, I don't know, kind of sort of a fan of. Absolutely. By the way, look out for the Royals. Royals have won their last 6. They stubbed their toe for a little bit, but they're back to 500, and they can pitch. We saw what Lugo did the other day, and in the 6-game win today, they beat the Royals. Another excellent pitching performance. Another instance where the Astros can score. Waka pitched 6 shutout innings. Esteves got his 7th save, and Witt got a double. Pasquantino hit a home run, and Tolbert got his 6th stolen base. I love stolen bases, and there you go. The Royals, they are on a roll. They're on a roll, and they're starting to win. And that's, to me, someone has explained that to me, why we're obsessed with strikeouts, walks, and home runs. The walk is one of the most boring play in baseball. And a home run is thrilling. I love a home run, but I actually think a triple is more exciting because it's the action. Once the ball leaves the park, then you try to run the bases, and there you go. Although also take a good long look at the Mariners, who are climbing up the standings, back to first place. Luis Castillo, remember how everyone thought he was going to be traded? He got a solid performance today. 6 innings of one-hit ball against Miami, and a pair of home runs from Polanco. 14-0. Marlins lost 14-0. If they stayed in the hotel and didn't show up to the park, they would have lost 9-0 on a forfeit. I'm going to go to another game, which was a blowout, and not the kind of blowout you'd ever want if you're an A's fan. 10-3 final was the A's lost to the Chicago White Sox. Luis Robert Jr. got his 3rd home run, and they did the whole weird opener thing. But Jonathan Cannon, technically in a relief performance, 7 2/3 innings, and nearly finished the game. They had to bring in a reliever in the bottom of the 9th, but there you go. But here's something I want to bring up. I'm going to bring this up. We'll throw a commercial in a second here. But you had it was a cloudy day in Sacramento, a little drizzly, but 60 degrees. I've been in Sacramento for an afternoon game. It's blazing hot there. So today was cloudy, and it's an afternoon game on a Saturday, and a situation where a lot of people probably thought the A's were going to win that game. And lest we forget, we're still in the first month of the A's playing in West Sacramento. And the attendance today was 8,832. 8,000. You can't blame that on it being a minor league ballpark, because the capacity is more than 8,000. It's significantly more than 8,000. Saturday afternoon, there's a major league team finally in Sacramento, even if it's just a temporary situation, and they're too ashamed to say anything about they're too ashamed to say where they play. I've hit this note before, but one of the reasons why I'm hitting this again is because I'm right. The honeymoon is over in I was going to almost said Oakland, in Sacramento. And just by looking at the attendance, they got more than 11,000 one time. Opening night, when they got clobbered, the first ever game, they drew 12,119. They haven't cracked 11,000 since. The day that I was there, the game that I was there was 9,018. I was one of them. If I didn't show up, there would have been 9,017. Then on Friday, it was up to 10,000, but then under 9,000 today. Now, it doesn't help matters that the A's have played very badly in their home ballpark. But the fact of the matter is, we need to talk about this because if the honeymoon is over in just a couple of weeks, what in the heck is going to happen? And I'm going to respond to a new fan of the show who brought up a couple of questions, which, do you know what? I got to be honest with you, um, is worth talking about. When I went to that game in Sacramento, in West Sacramento, CDAs, I got my tickets. I got them through Game Time. And let me tell you something, there's nothing better than catch a Major League Baseball game live, whether it's at Sutter Health Park to see the Sacramento A's or whether I went to see the Dodgers play in the National League Championship Series. Let me tell you something, it's a thrilling experience, and I use Game Time to get my tickets. With last minute deals, all in pricing and the lowest price guaranteed, Game Time takes the stress out of buying Major League Baseball tickets. Plus, the tickets drop as game time gets closer, but you can come up with an incredible deal. When I got my tickets to see the Sacramento A's, I had great prices, which meant I had more money to buy merchandise like my Sacramento A's cup that I have right here. And you can have the top discounts through the Game Time Picks features, which makes getting the best deals effortless. And you get to view the seat before you buy. I can preview it. There's no surprise. Oh my God, there's a pillar. Oh my God, I'm facing the wrong way. That happens in Fenway Park, by the way. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCK EDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices. They are guaranteed. I want to bring up one of my new listeners here, girl Colin, who is wrote me a bunch of things about this, and she's been going to the games. She's lives in Sacramento, and she's been going to the game, and she's excited. And I'm thrilled for girl Colin. I'm thrilled for her that she's enjoying every minute of this. She's taking her kids there. They got their A's hats on, and she admitted to me. Well, I'll just say, she says, I just hate how much Sacramento's getting, how much hate Sacramento's getting over it all. I think there are more Giants fans in this area, but if you're a baseball fan, I don't know how you stay away. And you know what, girl Colin, you know, I I loved going to Sacramento and seeing the fans who were there. And the fans who were there seemed to be having a great time. And people like you who are a baseball fan, you told me on one of the other things you wrote that you were a Giant fan, but since the A's showed up, you put on the green and gold, so they're my team. And you get a fan like Girl Colin, who is a big baseball fan. Reminds me a little bit of myself when the players came back from the strike in 1995, and there were a lot of people who didn't want to show up, and I was there opening day. So I'm here, I'm having fun. And good for you for being one a fan who was like, do you know what? I'm here. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to be at the ballpark. Um, that's great. And I think that's a fabulous thing. I do think there has been a combination of missteps that have happened at this point. I do think, I don't think it's a small thing. Not calling the team the Sacramento A's is huge. I mean, it's such a simple fix. It will cost virtually nothing. I'm not saying they have to change any of the signage on there. They obviously already have some merchandise where they mention Sacramento. They don't have to change any of the uniforms. The uniforms right now say A's or Athletics. And when they won the World Series back in the where it was back here, back in the 70s, those uniforms never said Oakland. In the 72, 73, and 74 World Series, their uniforms just said A's. They never said Oakland. Okay? So you don't have to change the uniform. You have to change the signage. You don't have to change anything like except on the website when you do a broadcast and when the press can refer to them as the Sacramento A's and listing it on baseballreference.com, the single website on History Planet Earth, or an ESPN or wherever it's playing, just have it say SAC. Just because the fans do not feel like they are being welcomed. Also, the prices. And this is not a small thing either. Baseball and movies have had a similar uh, issue about pricing people out. Part of the thing about baseball and part of the thing about going to the movies was its affordability. Over the years, the movies thrived during the Great Depression because it wasn't the opera, it wasn't the theater, it wasn't going to the symphony. It was a working person's entertainment. Cost, whatever it cost, like, a couple of quarters, you see a movie, you see a double feature. And the baseball ticket was also reasonably priced. You can take your family to go see it, to go see a game, because there's so many games. But if you start pricing people out of games, well, then people are going to stay home, but then you're blacking them out. So do you know what? They'll move on to something else. Pricing the A's tickets to be one of the highest tickets in the game, I know it's because it's a smaller capacity, but how's that working out for you? How is the optics of giant patches of thousands, not a few here and there, thousands of empty seats in a minor league stadium for the A's, for a major league team? And there are fans out there. There are good fans out there. You got Girl Colin is not alone. You got all those fans at the Kings games, all those fans who are going to the freaking River Cats games. Get them excited for a couple years because it's going to be 3 years. What's it going to be like next year when the palpable excitement is over, which apparently ended before the Cinco de Mayo? You would think the palpable excitement would at least get to, I don't know, Memorial Day. Now we'll see once school gets out, but the school is out today. We'll see what happens. But if this gets to year 2 and 3, we're finding out that this wasn't an Oakland problem. We're finding out that this is not, oh, those fans in Oakland, they didn't show up. If these were the attendance numbers in Oakland, people would be trashing the fans of Oakland. Maybe it's a John Fisher thing. Maybe people don't trust this guy. Maybe there's been too much written that we see, this guy sounds like he was a bit of a fink when he was over in Oakland. Yeah. Was he being a fink to us? Well, his first act was making sure no one was able to refer them as the Sacramento A's. So he's alienating everyone in Oakland. Now he's alienating everyone in Sacramento. Good luck with that, Vegas, if that ever happens. But this is a problem. I think if doing this, just saying Sacramento, just allowing allowing that to be said on the broadcast and change the graphics. Believe me, it doesn't cost a lot to change graphics. Not changing signs, not changing uniforms, not printing anything new out. You've already done that. But just make that one tiny change now. Just because you made a decision and the decision, doesn't mean you have to keep double down. That's the sunk cost fallacy. And there's no cost to making this change. You made a mistake. Change it now. See what happens. Get people in Sacramento excited. Or don't and fail and blame the fans. And somehow and then good luck drumming up the investors to do what you're supposed to do in in freaking Las Vegas, because part of the idea is you're supposed to be putting a quality product on the field when you get to Vegas. Well, you're obviously not getting the ticket sales you want, so this could be pretty bad. This is alarming that we've got, it's April and it's already we're already in Yanksville. Oh, by the way, I forgot to answer the trivia question. The trivia question was about Sal Magli, and I said, why did he get a tough luck loss? Why was his last World Series appearance a unique tough luck loss? And a couple of you got it right, including Stephen Colatrella, who said that Don Larson's perfect game. Magli pitched a 5-hitter, gave up a homer to Mickey Mantle. That's right. He pitched very well, complete game in his final World Series appearance, but he happened to be going up against Don Larson. And it's going to go to today's trivia question about the 4 home runs in one game. That is an unbelievable achievement when that indeed happens. However, I will ask this. What is the only franchise to have, let me make sure I have this correct, Here we go. What is the only franchise to have 3 players hit 4 home runs in one game? There have been a couple of teams have done it more than once, but only one franchise has had 3 players hit 4 home runs in one game. That is a trivia question. Put the answer right down here and follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter or whatever they're calling it these days. And on Instagram, I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. But the best way to get a hold of me is right here on YouTube. Talking about the Diamondbacks who can't get out of their own way, the Giants who are running all the way to first place, and the Sacramento A's not bringing in the fans, except for our dear new friend, Girl Colin. This has been Locked On MLB. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.